Hello and welcome to Bass Fishing 202. I'm your host, Lance Perticone. Today we have lesson 4, my braid leader system using the Albright knot. Anyone who's fished with me knows that I'm partial to jigs and plastics. Those folks also know I usually use braid with a leader. Since Winter Storm Blair is closing in, this is a good time to stay warm and tell you about my braid leader system. Full disclosure, this setup isn't for everyone, and it's not for every technique, but for me, it offers advantages for my style of fishing that far outweigh the disadvantages. I moved to Texas 30 years ago. Since then, I've been able to fish all year long. During the winter months, when I got here, I constantly struggled with line memory. Back then, I was using monofilament and later fluorocarbon. I used different brands. I tried spray treatments. I tried stretching my line out. I put fresh line on all the time, which was expensive and impractical for the number of rods I used. But the results were always the same. When it was cold, it was like throwing a bait with a slinky. When braid first came out, I tied it directly to the lure, and that solved my line memory issue, but it seemed like my bites went way down. I don't know if it was the visibility of the braid or the noise it makes, but unless flipping really heavy cover, the drop-off in bites was real, and I just couldn't tolerate that. Eventually, I tried tying on a leader. That gave me the best of both worlds, it seemed, but I had a lot of trouble tying the leader to the braid with a blood knot or a barrel knot. I just couldn't get it, 1 out of 10 times. It was very frustrating. Learning the Albright knot was the game changer for me. I could tie any size leader to any size braid quickly and securely. The braid actually wraps the leader so it protects the knot, and it's compact enough to go through standard line guides as well. Wikipedia has some really nice diagrams that I don't have permission to use, but the knot looks like this. Now there are lots of videos available out there, but here's one more. I'm going to attach a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader to 30-pound braid. Now bear in mind I'm right-handed, so you may need to reverse if you're left-handed. Okay, we start by making a loop in the leader line and pinching it with my left hand, and I'll leave plenty of tag. Then I thread the braid from the back to the front. I keep the loops tight with my pinky of my right hand, and then I pinch the braid with my left hand, and again I leave plenty of tag. Okay. Then I wind the braid 12 times around all 3 strands. That's 2 strands of fluoro and 1 strand of braid. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Next, and this is important, thread the braid back through the loop from front to back. And then, and this is also important, tighten the knot by pulling on all 4 threads simultaneously. I use my teeth to help. Okay. And finally, I trim the tag ends by about 1/8 of an inch. And then cinch the knot, make sure it's tight and secure, and you should have, around 1/16 of an inch of tag end on each end. And there you have it, the Albright knot. So I just vary the leader length and strength according to water clarity and cover. Heavy leader for heavy cover, light leader for thin cover, short leader for dirty water, long leader for clear water. So just like with any setup, there are advantages and disadvantages of this system. As I said, for my style of fishing, the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages. I've convinced myself over and over that the low visibility and reduced line noise close to the lure results in a lot more strikes. There's no line kinking as long as it's above freezing, and that improves hook sets. There's minimal line stretch with the braid, and that's also making for better hook sets. It's way more cost effective. Braid will last at least a year. Reverse it on the end of the reel and use it for another year. It's very versatile. I keep the same braid on my reels and only have to change the leader length and strength for different waters. I keep filler spools of all different leader line weights in my tackle box at all times. And of course, there's greater strength and abrasion resistance with the braid, especially in heavy cover. Now, there are disadvantages of this braid leader system. The biggest one is there's a second knot to monitor. A lot of my friends just can't get past this. All knots need to be retied periodically, and just like the terminal knot, the leader knot will get stressed and weakened after too many fish or snags. I have to check it often, and on a good fishing day, I retie it occasionally during the day to prevent breaking off. There is a slight loss of casting distance versus straight fluoro or mono. A leader knot will not go through micro guides well, so I only use a leader with rods fitted with standard line guides. Even the Albright knot hangs up with standard line guides when pitching, so I use a shorter 3-foot leader to keep it out of the guides altogether when I'm using that technique. And finally, of course, braid is absolutely unusable when the air is below freezing. So when do I use the braid leader combination? I use it on all my spinning gear. Now for bait casters, I use it for worms, for jigs, for swim baits, for stick worms, for soft jerk baits. I use it on Carolina rigs and split shot rigs, and I use it on topwater poppers and walking baits. So where do I not use the braid leader system? Mostly on moving baits, crankbaits, jerk baits, spinner baits, bladed jigs, buzz baits, the Alabama rig. I don't use a braid leader with frogs or toads, and I don't use a braid leader if I'm flipping or punching into super heavy cover. I've used this system for both heavy and light line techniques for at least 10 years now. I've caught largemouth bass over 9 pounds and smallmouth bass over 6 pounds and some saltwater fish in the 15-pound range with this system. My point is, a well-tied leader knot is not a liability. Because of all the advantages of this system, I think it's worth practicing the Albright knot and giving the leader system a try to see if it might fit in with your style of fishing. I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe to Bass Fishing 202. It's free, and you can get notifications of my new posts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.